Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the whole elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, the Most High, the Heavenly Father's Hebrew name is Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua. It's Yahweh Shah. So I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rekah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who wrote well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether you can accept it or not. In a sincere salutation to all the occupants pushing this truth and believing this truth, toward the four ends of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect. And shalom to the outwath who are listening and learning. The few sisters who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah from Jeremiah Camp coming at you another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification, another daily edification. Lord's willing, this be edifying. And I titled this lesson, Our Genealogy Documents Was Taken and Hidden, but not our spirit. You got these guys talking about basically that we need proof. We need proof. Show proof like Ancestry.com or 23andMe for our DNA to know that we Hebrew Israelites. We don't got to do that, man. The scriptures is plain. We know, according to the curses, faith, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah, that we are the Hebrew Israelites, man. We don't need no DNA test. So what I'm first going to read is Romans 8 and 16. You got these bug outs like Vocab Malone and everybody else, these wacky Christians, with their plantation Christianity, with their theological doctrine, want to go back and forth. But we know who we are, man. And we know who we worship. We know who we worship. This is Romans 8 and 16. See, our genealogy documents was lost. Well, really ain't lost. Because these devils got them. Okay, when they sacked the temple in 70 AD, they took everything, man. Okay, so our genealogy documents was taken and hidden, but not our spirit, man. This is Romans 8 and 16. The spirit itself bearing witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh. Okay, we know who we are, man. We don't need no paperwork. We don't need no DNA. We know that we the Hebrew Israelites. So again, Romans 8 and 16, the spirit itself bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of power. We know who we are, man. Which I'm going to read. These things was lost, man. And this is first let's get this. This is Psalm 79 and 1. And it reads, O power, the heathen are coming to thine inheritance. The holy temple have they defiled. They have laid Jerusalem on heaps. Who is this? The Job 9 and 24s, man. It say, O power, the heathen are coming to thine inheritance. Thy holy temple have they defiled. They have laid Jerusalem on heaps. And as the scriptures say, they was going to take Jerusalem and trot it down until the time of the Gentiles are fulfilled. Now this is Isaiah chapter 1, verse 7. Your country is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. Your land, strangers devour it in your presence, and it is desolate as overthrown by strangers. So who's in the land of Israel right now? Strangers. Okay? Foreigners, aliens. You got these Palestinians and these Israelis fighting over land that ain't even theirs, man. Okay, they took their land in 1948 through the Balfour Declaration. That's not their land, man. This is Ezekiel 35 and 10. It reads, because they have said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. So when these Idumeans, these Edomites took the land, they said, what? Ezekiel 35 and 10. Because thou hast said, this is the Lord saying that the Edomites said, because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine. What? The northern and the southern kingdom. And we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. And that's what they're doing now, man. They possessing the land as if the Lord was there, man. Saying that that's the holy temple, like that's the holy land, right? Israel is the holy land, which it is. It's not now because heathens are in it, man. But they saying we will possess it as if the Lord was there. And they do, man. Who controls Israel, Jerusalem? Esau, Edom, man. The Job 9 and 24s. Therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh power, I will even do according to thy anger and according to thy envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh, and that I have heard all the blasphemies which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. So, who's in our land? Who have stolen our identity, man? Talking about they the Jews. But what happened? Well, what are the other 11 tribes at? If you just the Jews, then you got some of these devils talking about they levy, meaning the Levites. Well, what are other 10 tribes at? If you Judah and Levi, what are other 10 tribes, man? This is Ezekiel 36 and 1. Also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountain of Israel and say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, because the enemy have said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. Therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side. Say the same thing in Hosea 8 and 8. That ye might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and ye are taken up in the lips of the talk of talkers, and are an infamy of the people. Therefore, you mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord Yahweh power. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh power to the mountains and to the hills, to the valleys, to the rivers and to the valleys, to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which is a Greek word for Edom, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. So these devils took Jerusalem and they took our genealogy documents, man, and hid them, man. But we don't need that to know that we got the Hebrew Israelites, man. Romans 8 and 16 say the Spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the sons of the living power of Yahweh, man. We don't need no genealogy documents, man. We don't need to take no 23andMe or no ancestry.com test to prove that we are Hebrew Israelites, man. We know. Yahweh shall say in John 6 and 44. This John 6 and 44. It reads, no man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. So, Shalaki, knowing this, the Lord says he's going to raise up his men, right, in the last day. This is 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. So we had to fall away from who we were, man. We had to fall away, right? Now, when you go to Ezra, just get this. This is Ezra chapter 2 and 1. Now, these are the children of the prophets that went up out of the captivity of those which had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon had carried away unto Babylon, and came again unto Jerusalem and Judah, every one unto his city. Right? It say, which came with Zerubbabel, Jeshua, Nehemiah, Sariah, Reeliah, and Mordecai. It say Bilshan, Mispah, Bigva, Rahum, Banah, the number of the men of the people of Israel. Now, when you jump down, because when you read all this, you just go into the number of every tribe, the number of every father and his son, right? All the way down. It's in Ezra chapter 2. It's Ezra 2 and 59. And these were they which went up from Timnah to Harsah, Cherub, and Adon, and Immer, but they could not show their father's house and their seed whether they were of Israel. They couldn't do it. Why? Because we was carried away captive. This was in 586. Okay, when Nebuchadnezzar came and took us down in Jerusalem, man. Okay, so this was another time that the Lord stripped us of our we had. Everybody had their staffs with their family lineage on it, man. Okay, it was taken away. It say, and these were they. You say, but they could not show their father's house and their seed whether they were of Israel. Now, when you jump down to verse 63, it reads, these sought their register among those that were reckoned by genealogy, but they were not found. Therefore, were they as polluted put from the priesthood. This going into 61 say, and of the children of the priests, these are the Levites, right? It say verse 62, these sought they register among those that were reckoned by genealogy, but they were not found. Therefore were they as polluted put from the priesthood. We lost our register, man. Our paper, our documents, our genealogy documents was taken, man. Okay? But we don't need that. What did the Lord say? Let's get this. Let me pull this up real quick. Let's pull this up. Everybody want to go back and forth about this, but we don't have to do that, man, because it's through the Spirit. This is First Timothy. First Timothy 1 and 4. It say, neither give heed to fables and endless genealogies, which minister questions rather than godly edifying, which is in faith, so do. So it say neither give heed to fables and endless genealogies, man. We don't gotta go back and forth with nobody, man. We know through the Spirit, man. Romans 8 and 16 said the Spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the sons of Yahweh Bashim of Yahweh, man. Okay? And Yahweh Shah is our big brother, man. Now this is so when you read Ezra 1, to my Ezra in the Bible, not the Ezra in the Apocrypha, which is the same Ezra. It just one just spelled English and Greek, just different spellings. So when you read in Ezra 2, it say that we lost the register, man, and we could not know who our father's lineage was. Matter of fact, let me read that one more time before I get this. Because we was in Babylon for 70 years, man. Let's get this. Again, Ezra 2 And one it said, now these are the children of the province that went up out of the captivity of those which had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon had carried away unto Babylon, and came again unto Jerusalem and Judah, every one unto his city. It say the number of the men of the people of Israel. Now back in 659 say, and these were they which went up from Timnah, from Taharsa, from Cherub and Adar and Immer, but they could not show their father's house and their seed whether they were of Israel. Why? Because we lost the register. Verse 62 said, these sought their register among those that were reckoned by genealogy, but they were not found. Therefore were they, as polluted, put from the priesthood. It's talking about the Levites. So if this happened to the Levites, what happened to the rest of the tribes, man? We lost it. It said in 60 and 59, it said, but they could not show their father's house and their seed whether they were of Israel. Why? Because it was taken, man, as it was set in 586 AD or 586 BC, all the way up to 70 AD. Same difference, man. Same things happened, man. It was taken. But we don't need that to prove that we Hebrew Israelites, man. It's through the Spirit. We know. But you gotta have. You can't. You can't be of a You can't be of a heathen nation that's carnal minded to understand this, man. Because even 2/3 don't understand. They won't accept it. Why? Because they are spiritually discerned, man. Now this is Matthew chapter 1 and 17. Listen to this. So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. And from David unto the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations. And from the carrying away into Babylon unto Hamashiach are 14 generations. Okay? So this was a run showing you the time limits, man. So it was lost. This is what was I finna get? Oh, this Jeremiah 29 and 10. To link with Ezra. Jeremiah 29 and 10. But thus said the Lord Yahweh, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word towards you in causing you to return to this place. Now, when you go to when you go to Ezra, right? Now this is Ezra chapter 4. It said, now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord Yahweh power of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your God as you do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Ashur, which brought us up hither. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, you have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our power, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord Yahweh power of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, had commanded us. So when you read this in Jeremiah 29 and 10, but thus said the Lord Yahweh, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word towards you in causing you to return to this place. Cyrus the Great, right, and Darius let Zerubbabel and Jeshua and them go back to build a wall in Jerusalem, man. So they lost. Everything was destroyed, man. So it seemed. It was destroyed, man. But because We still was with our forefathers, Zerubbabel, Nehemiah, Jeremiah. They all was in Babylon, man. So the lineage didn't go nowhere. It just was the documents, man. And these bug out demons is stupid, man, because they don't understand this. And I want it. This is not meant to be too long. This is Luke 21, and let's read this. Luke 21 and 21. Matter of fact, Luke 21 and 20. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is not. This is talking about 70 AD. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. This is how we wound up in Africa and other parts of the world. We had to flee from the Romans, 70 AD. And let not them that are in the country enter therein too. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. Because what? Say 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3 say what? That they should not come until they come and fallen away first. So it say what? That all things which are written may be fulfilled. We had to fall away from who we were, man. We had to flee from Jerusalem. This prophecy of heathens in our land had to play out, man. This is a part of the falling away and coming back together, man, and the temple of David being rebuilt, man. A spiritual temple. These things had to happen. It say, but woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, wrath upon this people, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. Okay? So this had to happen, man. This brother Kadash SOZ put out first Ezra 8 and 69. The nation of Israel, the princes, the priests, and the Levites have not put away from the strange people of the land, nor the pollution of the Gentiles, to wit of the Canaanites. It say for both, I got this going to a lot of edification too. It said for both they and their sons have married with their daughters, and the holy seed is mixed with the strange people. And it says this in Deuteronomy 7 chapter as well. With the holy people of the land, and you could precept this with Deuteronomy 7 chapter. It say the holy seed is mixed with the strange people of the land, and from the beginning of this matter, the rulers and the great men have been partakers of this iniquity. This is verse 77, First Ezra 8 and 77. And for our sins and our fathers, we with our brethren and our kings and our priests were given up unto the kings of the earth, to the sword and to captivity, and for a prey with shame unto this day, man. So these things, the falling away, losing our documents of the staff that every man had his staff with his lineage. So these things is gone, man. So it's through the spirit now, man. And it's not for everybody to understand. So Luke 21:24 say, they say, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So the Gentiles is trodden down the land until a certain time. This is Revelation 11 and 1. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod. And the angel stood saying, rise and measure the temple of God and the altar and them that worship therein. So this reed is like unto a rod, talking about the Bible, man. Measuring who? The 144,000 and the unknumbered multitude of Israelites, man. The elect, the 1/3. It say, but the court, which is without the temple, leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, right? And the holy city shall they tread underfoot 40 and 2 months. So who's treading the city for 40 and 2 months until it be fulfilled? The heathens, man. Now this is another one. Let me see. This is Second Ezra 10 and 21. It says, 2 Ezra 10:21, for thou seest that our sanctuary is laid waste, our altar broken down, our temple destroyed, our psaltery is laid on the ground, our song is put to silence, our rejoicing is at an end, the light of our candlestick is put out, the ark of the covenant is spoiled, our holy things are defiled, and the name that is called upon us is almost profane. Our children are put to shame, our priests are burnt, our Levites are gone into captivity, our virgins are defiled, and our wives ravished, our righteous men carried away, our little ones destroyed, our young men are brought into bondage, and our strong men are become weak. And which is the greatest of all, the seal of Zion have now lost her honor, for she is delivered into the hands of them that hate us. This is what the Lord did to us, man. Now, same difference in Lamentations 2. It say, how have the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven unto earth the beauty of Israel, and remember not his footstool in the day of his anger. The Lord hath swallowed up all the habitation of Jacob, and have not pitied. He hath thrown down in his wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Judah. He hath brought them down to the ground. He hath polluted the kingdom and the princes thereof. This is verse 5. The Lord was an enemy. The Lord was as an enemy. He hath swallowed up Israel. He hath swallowed up all her palaces. He hath destroyed his strongholds, and have increased in the daughter of Judah mourning and lamentation. Verse 8. The Lord had proposed to destroy the wall of the daughter of Zion. He hath stretched out a line. He hath not withdrawn his hand from destroying. Therefore he made the rampart and the wall to lament. They languished together. Her gates are sunk into the ground. He had destroyed and broken her bars. Her king and her princes are among the Gentiles. The law is no more. Her prophets also find no vision from the Lord. The elders of the daughter of Zion sit upon the ground. That's what talking about Jeremiah 14:2. When they say Judah mourn the gates thereof language, they are blackened to the ground. It's talking about the elders. Because the elders always set the entrance of the city, man. That's where you went to go and get wise counsel. If you had a problem with your son or you found out your wife was cheating, you took him to the gate to the elders, man. And that's what business got dealt at. It said the elders of the daughters of Zion sit upon the ground and keep silent. They have cast up dust upon their heads. They have girded themselves with sackcloth. The virgins of Jerusalem hang down their heads to the ground. Verse 16, Lamentation 2 and 16. I'm hitting the major points in this chapter. All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it. The Lord Yahweh have done that which he had devised. He hath fulfilled his word that he hath commanded in the days of old. He hath thrown down and have not pitied, and he hath caused thine enemy to rejoice over thee. He hath set up the horn of thine adversaries. The Lord did this, man. Verse 21 say, the young and the old lie on the ground in the streets. My virgins and my young men are fallen by the sword. Thou hast slain them in the day of thy anger. Thou hast killed and not pitied. This is why we lost everything, man. For this, will go back to disobedience, man. So when these demons talking about, well, y'all lost, no, man, the Lord took it, man. That's why Isaiah said this. It's Isaiah 63 and 17. And it reads, O Yahweh, why hast thou made us to err from thy ways, and harden up our heart from thy fear? Return for thy servant's sake the tribes of thy inheritance. The people of thy holiness have possessed it but a little while. We possess what for a little while? Jerusalem, Israel. King David had it for what? 70 years? Then Solomon had it for another 40, man. Okay? That's not long, man. It say, thy people of thy holiness have possessed it but a little while. Our adversaries have trodden down thy sanctuary. We are thine, thy never bearers rule over them. They were not called by thy name. So it's the Lord that did it, man. It was the Lord that had these devils to come and take down Jerusalem, man. That's why the apostles, the disciples asked the Lord this. This Acts 1 and 6. Now when therefore they were come together, when they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power. But ye shall receive power after that the Holy Spirit is coming to you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and all Judea, and in Samaria, and unto the utmost parts of the earth. You see? And when he had spoken these things while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. So the Lord told the apostles, it's not for you to know about the kingdom of heaven being restored. A lot of things had to happen first, man. Okay, this one Yahweh was on the scene. Okay, so after this, 70 AD had to happen, man. There's a lot of things had to go on then, man. So they knew they was Israel. When Peter and Paul, when Peter and John, Lord, you this time I restore the kingdom again to Israel. They knew we had to fall away and forget that we was Israelites, man. So it don't matter that our genealogy documents was taken and hidden. We still got the spirit, man. The Lord say in the last days, I'm gonna raise up these men again. Let's get this one. This is St. John 14. No. St. John 15 and 16. You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever you shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you. So Yahweh said, John 15 and 16, you have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you. So you could take away the paperwork, you could take away the kingdom, that you can take away the ancient kingdom, but the kingdom of heaven is in Israel, man. It's in the Israelites. It's not a physical place, man. Because as it say in Second Maccabees 5 and 19, nevertheless, God did not choose the people for the place sake, but the place for the people's sake. So wherever the Israelites go at, that's where the kingdom of heaven at. And that's why I like watching this movie, Thor. Cause what was the second one? I think it is the second Thor when he had to destroy Asgard. You know, the next one they showed him, he had a big stomach, he was fat with the big stomach, and he said this is Asgard on Earth, man. You see, it don't matter where the Israelites go at, man. That's why the Lord said in Zephaniah 1 and 12, he gonna search Jerusalem with candles. He ain't talking about Jerusalem over there in Israel. He talking about the Israelite. He gonna search. That's why he say he scattered among the four corners of the earth, and he sent a sword after us, man. That's him searching Jerusalem with candles, man. Cause we Jerusalem. What did he say when they asked him about the kingdom of heaven? He told them the kingdom of heaven come not with observation, man, but it's within you, man. You see, so it doesn't matter about a DNA test, man. 23andMe and Ancestry.com, man. That doesn't determine if you a Hebrew Israelite or not. That's Esau Edom madness, man. We don't need that. Romans 8:16 say the spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of power, man. Okay? The sons of Yahweh, man. We don't need none of that. We know according to the spirit, man. So I didn't want to make this too long. I just wanted to make a few points. Lord was edifying. Gotta give all praise and glory to Yahweh. Bashim Yahweh Shah. I want to read this again. Because see this right here? And obviously, these devils like Vocab Malone and none of these other demons, they didn't read this chapter, man. This is Ezra, chapter 2. I'm reading one again. It said that these are the children of the prophets that went up out of the captivity of those which had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away unto Babylon, and came again unto Jerusalem and Judah, every one unto his city. So, when we was let go? out of Babylon with Cyrus and Darius, man, to go back and build a wall and build a temple, man. Now, when you go to, it say, matter of fact, let me read this again. It say these are the children of the province that went out, that went up out of the captivity, right? When you go to Daniel 1, matter of fact, Spirit just told me to read this. When you go to Daniel 1, it says this. In the third year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, to Jerusalem and besieged it, right? And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand with part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God, right? It say, and the king spake unto Aspenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel and of the king's seed and of the province and of the princes. So guess who's amongst the king's seed in Judah? Jehoiakim. Daniel, man. Listen to this. Children in whom was no blemish, right? Daniel and the three holy children was part of this, man. It said the children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom and cunning in knowledge and understanding, science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. Verse 5. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine which he drank, so nourished them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now among these were of the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azara. Who is this? Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, man, of the king's seed, man. You see that? I just want to read that, man. I just had to read that because we understand that these are who? Hebrew Israelites, man, of the king's seed, man, of Jehoiakim seed, man. Hey, so Lord, with us edifying, got to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Rikakwadash, double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone, who well, who teach well, who are the apostle elders of Great Millstone, who well, who are the apostle elders over all of Israel, whether you can accept it or not. And the sincere salutation to all the Akim, pushing this truth and believing this truth, for the full ends of the earth, the entire world, wicked of the hopefully elect. And shalom to the Aqua, to the Aquath who are listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. Oh, I want to go back to this real quick before I close out. Ezra 2, right? Because it's going into it said, now these are the children of the province, which I just read in Daniel 1, right? Some of those children was Daniel, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, man. Okay? It say, this is verse 59. It say, and these were they which went up from Tamila, Tehasa, Cherub, Adon, and Immer, but they could not show their father's house and their seed whether they were of Israel, because things was messed up, man. But you are what your father is, man. Hey, so Lord wills edifying till next time. I say Shalom, Wild Bible Ball. The water for tuning in. May Yahweh Shema shall continue to bless you in your houses. Stay prayed up. Let me see this other precept the brother put up. That's a beautiful right there too. Kadash SOZ, he put up on Lamentation 4 and 1. How was the gold become dim? How was the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. Right. It said it in Isaiah 51. It said Judah, it said the Israelites lie at the top of every street, at the head of every street like a wild bull in the net, man. You see, that's Jake. This is he put up Isaiah 5 and 13. Therefore, my people are going to captivity because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their their multitude dried up with thirst. Verse 4 say, verse 14, Isaiah 5 and 14, therefore Hell have enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure in their glory and their multitude and their pomp, and he that rejoice shall descend into it. This is since he mentioned that, let me get this. This is also another in Ezekiel, Salakia. I'm gonna bring this out too. It's Ezekiel 7 and 21. And I will give it into the hands of the strangers, to the land of Israel, and I will give it into the hand of the strangers for a prey, and to the wicked of the earth for a spoil. And they shall pollute it. Pollute what? Israel. Right? Verse 22 say, my face will I turn also from them, and they shall pollute my secret place. That's what the Lord said. They're going to pollute Israel. For the robbers shall enter into it and defile it. This verse 24. Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled, man. So he made our power to cease, man. And after he said he gonna bring the worst of the heathen was gonna take the land, man. And we dealing with the worst of the heathen out of all 17 heathen nations, man. Esau, Edom is the worst, man. Spirit had me to read that too. So yeah, Lord willing, Shalom. The while for tuning in. And Yahweh Shema Shakateen bless you in your houses. Stay prayed up.